Welcome to the 2021 Virtual Christmas Summit brought to you by Boscoyo Studios. This presentation is sponsored by Build a Light Show. And please do not unmute yourself or interrupt the presenter. And feel free to put any questions or discussions you may have into the chat window. I'd like to welcome Jackie Elliott. He's going to do a presentation today, which I really appreciate your time and effort. These uh, presentations are, wholeheartedly a lot of information, and customizing singing props for easy import, that's very, very important to a lot of people. And with that, I'd like to welcome Jackie and let you go ahead and start.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. This is a presentation on how to make it easy to import sequences. It's a little work in the beginning, but once you get it done, it's quite easy to import, and it will shave a lot of time from setting up your sequence to your singing props. If you have singing props and you've brought sequences in, most of the time these sequences are not set to your prop, and you have to do a lot of adjustments, and that's a little time consuming, especially on sequences that have multiple singing faces, even on one line. There's a few tips and tricks to make life real quick, and tweaking a sequence can take several hours. Even if you buy a sequence, it can still be hours of labor getting it set up to your show. So any kind of a time saving tip for doing these sort of things are really good, because we all know that we got to get out there and build our props and set up our show and do other things. So time is very valuable to each one of us. We'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. So making singing props easy, all right? What we're going to talk about is how to set up your X model. We're going to set your X model up for your show, for you. Uh, I am a prop builder, so when I build a prop, I have a certain thing in mind, but a customer may have something else in mind on how they want to do it. So knowing how to manipulate these models to fit your show is very important, because once you purchase a prop or you build a prop, you want it to fit your style. Having a little trouble getting my, there we go. So customizing your props to fit your show. What we're going to talk about is modifying your X models to make it easier. We're going to make as many face definitions as you need for your show. When importing can be time consuming when tweaking it to match your show, and this is going to help you to save time. Time is money. Spend it elsewhere, right? So I've been using X-Lights for about 3 years now. Uh, it's not new to me. I've been doing very similar stuff for a lot longer. So when I got into X-Lights, it was like rolling from one thing into the next. Lights was not something that was on my plate for quite a few years. But once I finally got into it, I'm like most people, got addicted, and here I am today. I work offshore in the Gulf of Mexico on an oil rig. Some of you know what that is, some of you don't, but ultimately I work off a 28-day rotation. I'm gone and I come back for 28 days, and my hobby is basically cutting props and doing different design work like that. And I like to barbecue. So if you ever get on Zoom and you catch me there and you want to talk about props or barbecue, just come on. Here we go. So we're going to break this down. So we're going to talk about how singing faces work. We're not going to talk how to sequence. This is more how to on the props itself, and not the sequencing. That's a totally different beast in itself. How to modify the singing faces. We're going to color in singing faces using the palette, which is your normal way of doing it. And then we're going to show how to use the layout face definition to color in an entire prop with many different colors. Uh, we're also going to show how to import an awkward sequence and make it easy to do that. So first thing is how singing faces work. Uh, I'm going to start out with some of the more basic information because I don't want to leave that out and assume that some of the newer people know how this works. Some of you guys who've been doing this for a while may think this is a little boring. Stay with me because we're going to get into a little more advanced information, and maybe some of this more basic stuff, maybe you'll find a little golden nugget of information that could help you along the way. So how singing faces work. In the layout tab of X-Lights, there is a faces definition. So we'll go to X-Lights right now and take a look. I want to show you this in the pumpkin since we had it up first. Right here in the model data window, there's faces. Click on this tab and click the three dots and it will bring this up. When we take a look at this, there is several things over here on the left: the face outline 2, your different phonemes, your eyes open, and your eyes closed. These are all defined in the face definition. And there's a lot of different things that is going on here, but ultimately what happens is X-Lights will take the phonemes that's in a sequence and it will apply. If it sees the AI, what it will do is it will call this right here, and this is the shape that it will give. If it calls the E, it will have this shape and so forth all the way down. Those phonemes are in the lyric track, and as the sequence is playing through, these get inputted onto the sequence for you. So it's almost automatic. So the hard work has been done by creating this face sequence, face definition already. So what we'll look at here, how this works, I wanted to show you in the face definition, along with the lyric track. You'll see this lyric track here starts with the phrase. It breaks down into the words, and then the words break down into the phoneme. And the U here, the U will be called in and make the U shape for this model. I got to get some stuff out of my way here. So to modify a singing face, what we have to understand is how they're created in the first place. When you go into X-Lights and you start to modify these faces, you'll see that you'll have different pixel levels, and you may want a different shape for something. You may want a really small oval shape right here, so you want to create it. Well, for the inventor of this, whoever actually built it, which was me here, I may not have that defined anywhere, but if you want it, you can absolutely come over here and modify these numbers. You can just click in here, delete the original, and you can actually click on each one and bring them in, or you could type it in. It's pretty easy. So if you have a line of numbers, let's say 1 through anything, as long as there's no break in that number, you can just 1-10 or whatever it is. But if there is a break, you go and you put a comma and you put the next number in. There are some cases where you can drag over the ones that you want. So they're making it really easy to modify these. So all you have to do, delete the numbers out that you want, drag over the ones you do want, and then hit OK and save. Let's go back into X-Lights and I'll show you a little bit of that to make it stick a little better. So go back to faces, click the three dots, and you'll notice that, let's say that my O here is a little big. You want the U to be smaller. Well, let's go ahead and modify this. All right, so I'm going to delete all of these. Click out of it, click back onto it so it can update. So I'm going to click and drag these numbers here. And now I have a really small oval shape for the U. So anytime the phoneme is called in the sequence, it will give this face definition. Now remember to hit save, hit OK and save. I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you don't hit save, the effects won't change. When you go back into here, when you see the U here on that pumpkin, you'll see the shape that it makes now. So let me bring up the pumpkin, hit my down arrow until it gets there. I'm going to fix the face. I'm going to leave it white for now because we're going to talk about the colors in just a minute. I'm going to hit play. Since I have this area here selected, which is over the U, you'll see the shape that it makes. So you can see the shape right there. That's the face we just defined in the layout. So the layout's very key to getting this right. Everything that you do for the singing faces will be in the layout here. So keep that in mind. Now, why would you want to change it? One thing is you want a different look, right? You want something to look different than the original programmer did. Maybe there's some other things. I had somebody who asked me about the pumpkin, particularly. They weren't really happy with the way it looked because of certain things. So they were on the lookout for a different style pumpkin that really fit a sequence that they were trying to use. So they couldn't find none nowhere. Well, in my mind, when you go to and see a jack-o'-lantern, the rest right here, the mouth should be open. That's just in my mind. But this gentleman didn't like the idea that the mouths were open. And most pumpkins, no matter the vendor, the mouth is open in the rest because that's what a jack-o'-lantern looks like. That's not what he wanted. He wanted a mouth that was closed, more like the M here. So what he done was he went into the rest and he changed this shape here to give it a different rest, and it fit his sequencing like he wanted to do. So it was really something he was doing to customize the prop for his style, and that's what I recommend everybody do, because once you have a prop, it's yours. Make it yours, right? So when you bring in a prop in normal circumstances, you're going to color it in using your color palette. And there is a sequence that you do this in. The first color is mouth. The second is eyes. Third, outline 1. Fourth, outline 2. The fifth is outline or eyes 2. And the sixth is eyes 3. These are in order from left to right. It doesn't matter how you choose these, because left to right is how X-Lights recognize them. So the first one is mouth. The second one is eyes. The third one is the outline 1. The fourth one is outline 2. And then the fifth one is eyes 2. And if you had a 6, which this one don't, it would be eyes 3. Now, if you only choose one color, let's say the mouth is going to light up white, but everything behind it will also light up white. If you choose a second color, green, the mouth will be white, the second color, the eyes, will be green, and everything behind it will be green. If you choose a third color, it will light that up blue and everything behind it blue. Fourth color, yellow, and then everything behind it. So basically, if you don't choose the next number or the next color, it will just take the preceding color all the way out. So like I said, mouth, eyes, outline 1, outline 2, eyes 2, eyes 3. And that's important to understand when you're coloring your stuff in. I'll show you how that's done. So here we have our pumpkin, right? It's white. I don't want it to be white. Pumpkins generally are not white. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to change it to orange. And now everything is orange. Let's say that I want my mouth to be a little bit lighter color. Well, I can choose yellow. But if you'll notice, everything behind it in that order is now yellow. And I don't really want everything to be yellow or whatever. So what we're going to do is now we're going to click in here. We're going to choose another orange, and this personal preference. So now I have orange for everything. So first color, mouth, eyes, outline 1. This pumpkin does have an outline 2, and it's the stem here. So I'm going to choose another color. I'm going to give it brown. And any guys that know, brown is a very difficult color But once I choose this color, it's going to give me a different color. Now I could also change this to a green, make it look green, uh, do different setups. So it's not very difficult to do this. And the next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to save this. So you can save your palette. I'm going to save it here. Just hit, save. So now when I drop this down, I can choose this palette wherever it landed at, right? I can choose it and always use that color, but I want to go back to the normal one or something else. I can. But if I want to choose that palette, here it is. So it's pretty easy to get back to. We're actually going to make it a lot easier towards the end here. So creating face definitions to match your show. What we're fixing to do is this is where we're really going to save some time. We're going to spend the effort, do a little work. We're going to get everything done to fit your show. And then whenever the time comes, it's going to be really, really easy. We're going to use a bunch of different colors. We're going to create a bunch of different face effects. That way, if you have something that will require a bunch of different colors, well, we're going to create all those colors on one prop and make it really quick. So I'm going to go back to the layout. Let's take a look at the pumpkin again. Go to the faces. Now you'll see that I have this pumpkin here. This is outline 2, is the stem. This is what it was defined for. So if you go mouth, eyes, outline 2. So here's our outline 1. Here's outline 1. And then this is outline 2. So this is the 4th one in the color palette. The next thing to keep in mind is that we have the eyes open. We have the different shapes here. And we have the eyes closed. They're going to keep the same color as each other. Now, let's make this a little easier. Up here, you'll see the 3 little dots. If you click add, you're going to bring in a blank. You can give it a name no matter what. You can give it a name, and it's just kind of blank here. You'd want to choose, node ranges so that you can give the different ones that you want. But that's not what we're going to do here. What we want to do here is go to this 3 dots. We're going to talk about these 2. So you can rename it and you can copy it. This is what we're going to do right now. We're going to copy. When you copy, we're going to give it a new name, and you can name it whatever makes sense to you. I'm just going to name it Jack-o'-lantern and hit OK. What this did is you just copied all this information over into another face definition named Jack-o'-lantern. It's node ranges. So now what we're fixing to do, force custom colors. Everything is white right now. It doesn't look like it's white, but it is. So we're going to choose colors. So remember, the face outline is this. So we're going to choose orange, hit OK. We're going to go to the face outline 2, which is the stem. I'm going to make it green, hit OK. And then for each one of these, we're going to do the same thing. Like I said, this is where the extra little bit of work comes in. So right here, we'll get to the eyes open. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to make this easy. We're going to choose this. If you like a different color, you could do that. If you don't like the nose being here, you can add these pixels. You'll notice when I hover above it, it gives me these pixels. So you could take these pixels out of this range and add it to the face outline 1 if you wanted to. The reason why I didn't add it there is because whenever I put this into a group, I only want the the outline of it to go in. I don't want the uh, any of the face to go into a group. And while I'm there, I'll go ahead and mention this. If you have a model that has outlines and it has the different submodels built into it, don't add the entire model into a group. The reason why is when an effect goes across the face, it will light up every single pixel and it doesn't look right. Especially in this case here, you'll notice that I have a lot of different mouth movements, eye shapes and everything. When everything lights up, it looks a little funky. And if you're actually talking with this prop at the time that happens, it will really look a little bad. So instead, what you need to do is put the outline submodel into the group instead. And what will happen is if a group effect happens, it will go over the outline instead of lighting up the entire pixel face. That is my recommendation. Now you'll notice over here, there's eyes open 2 and eyes open 3 along with the closed. Those are for cases where you have several different shapes or colors. If you had a big pupil or if you had uh, maybe eyelashes or anything else that you may have, we're going to cheat the system a little bit and use these for something else a little later. But for right now, that's what they're for. So now that I have this done, I want to go here, also fix this and hit OK, save. I'm going to go back to my sequencer and here's my pumpkin. Now we've already colored this in, but if I come over to the face definition and I go to jack-o'-lantern, it's going to be the same colors that I forced over there. What this does, it allows us to create the same color for everything. For every time that a sequence comes in and we put a face effect, we can come over here and choose this. Uh, if I, and sometimes fluff comes in whenever you do this as well. So just keep that in mind that sometimes you want to clean it up, but that's a sequence setting, right? So this is effect settings. Whenever you import a sequence, whatever effect settings were over in this effect will also come in over here too. And it's just fluff and it doesn't really exist. You can go to your layout, go to faces. You can choose those blank and then delete them out of your way. But it's really, you just need to know what you've named stuff and what you want it to be. So now when I come here, which it'll be updated if I come off of this, but I go to jack-o'-lantern. These are the forced colors and they will always be the same no matter what. That way I don't have to take the time to load my palette, find it where it's at. Once I load it, make sure the colors are right. That's a little bit of time. It adds up by the end of the sequence, right? So if I come down through here and I have a whole bunch of other things going on, let me close this down a little bit. I have a bunch of other things going on. Then I have to work through every single prop in my display and do that. So let's make it easy. We'll go ahead and force the colors to the colors that we want. Now, there are cases to where you'll want to do this on many props. You want to have several different things. So let's take a look. Let's say that you have a bulb, and a lot of people do have singing bulbs. How many colors would you want to have on those bulbs? Most of the time it'll be red, blue, yellow, green. It'll be very simple colors. So let's take my singing star here and let's go into the faces. So you'll see I have no extra here. It's just the face definition. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 3 dots. I'm going to copy and I'm going to name it red star. On the face outline, I'm going to force colors. I'm going to make it red. I don't have an outline 2 on this, so I could do this for everything. So let me just simplify this and make it a little faster. We're going to go to rest. I'm going to go to the eyes open. And I want to choose a little bit different color red. Let's define a custom color. I want to make it a little bit lighter. And I know there's other colors, but I'm just going to play around here. Add to custom colors, click it and hit OK. Now I have a different color for the eyes. So this is red. I'll choose that custom color here as well. Hit OK, save. Now that's done, but I'm not going to stop there. Let's go back into it. Let's copy this again. We're going to name this blue star. Force custom colors. We're going to make this blue. No outline 2. We're going to go to the rest just to make this easy. I would do it across all of these again. And let's choose a little bit lighter mouth. And the eyes will do the same thing. So you get the idea. We can do this as many times as you want. As a matter of fact, there's no limit to the number of face definitions you can create. So the idea is that let's bring in a sequence, and it has 20 different singing faces across one line. And all it is it's changing colors through there. Well, you can apply those colors to each one, or you can just go ahead and choose your face definition to make life easy. Go back to the sequencer, and I want to bring this up to my star by hitting the up arrow. Okay, so now we're here. We come over here. You'll want to kind of wake this up. That's all that is. You'll have to just kind of wake it up. You notice I didn't have the colors forced for the mouth on all the shapes, so it went to white, which is fine. But whenever it rests, it will be in that little lighter blue. I don't want that. I want red star. Boom, it's done. It's simple. I don't have to change anything. I just change this over here. It makes it really easy. The show outline, of course, it will still be using the force colors for this, but we'll just use that. So I recommend creating a face definition or as many of them as you need, right? For the different aspects of your show, with a bulb, a singing star, or something that's very similar to this. Having your colors already preset can save you a lot of time. All right, so now what we're fixing to do is a little more advanced. It's a little more time consuming to set up, but once we do this, you're gonna see a few tips and tricks here to make life really easy. We're fixing to get even better. I know y'all are on the edge of your seats right now, just waiting to see what's fixing to happen. So I'll go to the layout. The first thing I'm fixing to show you is this little reindeer. Believe it or not, we're using the face effect to color it in. We're using it for the model. It's not a singing face, but it does have some features on it. So we're going to go to the faces, and you'll notice I already have the colors customized here, and I'll show you what it is. I have a color here for the outline. I have the hoofs a little darker, and guys, brown does not show up very well on a prop. I'll go ahead and show you a little trick here. So let's custom colors, right? You will have to have your show in front of you in the dark, like you was going to play it, your prop sitting there, and you'll need to adjust the colors to match what you think more closely matches what you want. That's where you're physically going to get out there. And then once you get that color, make sure you remember these numbers by either writing them down or whatever you need to do. But once you create a custom color and you have it over there and you go ahead and input it here, it will stay there until you delete the colors. So let me show you real quick what happens. I'm going to copy this, and this is going to be a burner. So I'm just going to type in burn. So now I have a different face definition for this here. If I uncheck this and say, oh, I didn't mean to do that, and I check it back, they're all gone. So I have a little bit of trouble here. But since this was a burner, I can go back. If you do something like this and you like, oh man, I've lost my colors, hit cancel. Do not hit OK. Hit cancel, and do not save. Do not do anything, and go back into it, because if you hit save or if you hit OK, it's going to overwrite what you did, and you'll notice it's still there. What I'm doing here with the faces effect is making life a lot easier, because the other option you have is using the state effects. You can use the state effects, and I love the state effects, but you can use them to color in a prop. You can use them to uh, create a whole lot of different areas to color in different ways. You can create as many different facets that you want. With the face, you're a little bit limited to the colors, right? You have face outline and face outline 2. That's 2 colors. You have your mouth and you have your eyes. So here's the eyes. I've got it here. I have eyes closed. So this prop here is not a singing face, but it does blink. So it's kind of a live action here, but that's what I'm utilizing it for. Uh, you'll also notice that I have eyes open too. So I'm going to show you that. Look at this bow. The bow is another submodel, but I'm using it in the face effect here, so that I can cheat this system here and use the colors off of it. Eyes 3, you'll notice that I have the ear and the back of the tail colored a little bit different. So I also have this blinking, and that poses a little bit of a different problem. When you're on the timing track of a face definition, the X-Lights will cause it to blink automatically. After so long, or certain phonemes, it will blink. So what happens is, if you don't have anything in these lower sections where it's closed, these will just disappear for a split second. They'll just kind of go out of the way. So you copy these, you can click on it once, click on it twice, and when it's highlighted blue, you can Control C and then come down and Control V and copy it into the next cell. So what I've done is, on eyes open 2, you'll notice 149 through 172, and then on eyes closed is 149 through 140 or 172. It's the same number. So when it blinks, all it does is keep the same thing. You'll never notice it. Uh, there is a way in X Lights to not auto blink, but that would really defeat the purpose of taking this prop and having it blink on its own. So we could stop it from blinking, but if we want it to stay blinking, then we'll do it like this. So basically, what I'm doing is using 2 more sets of colors here. Where this comes in handy really well is, say, like on this snowman. Let me go into the faces and I'll show you how this is set up. I have this set up. You'll notice that this is a little gray instead of white. There is a reason for that. I'll explain that in just a minute. So I have my face outline. It is the snowballs. I have the face outline 2, which is these buttons and the hat. I have all of the mouth phonemes. I have the eyes. I have, this is eyes open 2, and I'm using the mittens and the scarf as the same color. Eyes open 3, I've got 3 different things here being colored by it. I also have those same numbers here, so that whenever there's a blink, they stay there. Because if you notice, on eyes open 1, uh, it's wide open, but during the closed, I have a blink. So we want that live action, but we don't want these parts to just disappear. So we'll copy and paste. Now, as far as the gray goes, whenever you look at an actual pixel lit up solid white, it's using 3 different LEDs, the R, G, and B. And it can be very, very bright. It can overpower the rest of the prop. Everything is really on a grayscale here. to an extent. You just basically darken it down just a little bit by making a slider. Uh, Let me just click on this and go to define custom colors. If I were to go wide open, it would be white. But when I drag it back down just a little bit, it's not really going silver. It's just going less bright. Uh, so what you do, again, you get a prop in front of you, you set it out there, you set it up, you output the lights from X lights, and you come and you adjust your colors to match in front of you. Once you get that done, it's over with. You have this prop built and it's completely fixed to fit what you like. And beware, cameras will throw different colors from what your eyes will look at too. So just be mindful that if you're setting it up for a camera, it's a little bit different from setting it up for people to view it. But absolutely get in front of your prop, set up your laptop or computer or whatever the case may be, adjust the colors, because with white I come down to a lower number so that it doesn't overpower the reds and the blues and the greens and the other colors, and it more makes the prop a little bit more even. So the little extra work at the beginning, setting up your colors, will make life a lot easier at the end, because if you don't force your colors and you make some custom colors, um, you're going to have trouble trying to find these later on down the road. So go ahead, set it up here, and be done with it. Also, there's one more trick I was going to go over, and I hadn't really mentioned it. So I'll open this back up and show you. So with this, I have several face definitions. I have several of them, and what we have is here. I came in and I created a different rest to where it looks like he has a little bit of a cheeky smile. So I just named him Cheeky. But I also have face one. And when I come back to the rest, you'll see it update over there. And it's just a regular, normal smile. Nothing special about it. Also, let's see, face two, go to rest. There was this was a copy, so I changed the colors, make things a little bit different. And then I have frowny face. Um, so this is a different rest. What I want you to see is that not always do you want the same rest or the same facial shapes or whatever. So you can create several of these face definitions and get one talking a little bit different from another one. Let's say that you have three uh, pumpkins and you want them to talk a little bit different. Well, you can modify the different face effects to do different things. So here's the rest. You'll notice that I chose a frowny pattern here just to give him a different look, like something serious or something, a little silly or whatever happens in a sequence. Then you can change the effect, change his facial setup so that it more matches your sequence. And again, you have the eyes open here and this. So I also helped somebody set up a snowman to represent school colors. They had different ones. And what we did was we changed these colors. So you just double click on the colors, find a color or define a color that is actually very close to your school colors or university or whatever the case may be. And you can represent no matter what prop you have. Also, there is one more little thing that we could do to help to get us another color if we wanted to. Much like the pumpkin where I used the nose with the eyes, you can also, in cases like this here, it won't work for most props, but in this case it will. The outline here is the same color as the mouth. So I could actually take and control C, which is copy, right? I can copy these nodes and add it to each one of these phonemes. That would alleviate this one being needed for the outline. And I could take that and put something else, like if I wanted to split these up, if I wanted to have different colors on the mittens, I could put a different color up here for the mittens or whatever I wanted to do. So there's a lot of different things you can do to modify your props to make it really quick. All right. So it's a lot of modifications, a lot of work right up front, and it's going to make things a little harder for you uh, if you don't go ahead and set yourself up. But what I have here is I imported the sequence, and you'll notice that I have a few things already done. This is the EFL Snowman, and whenever I imported this sequence, this is what came in on my effect settings. You'll notice it's not working. It's not ready to go. So this is single node. I'm fixing to come over here. I'm just going to choose Cheeky. I don't have to come in. I don't have to double click, open up my submodels and put colors on each one of them. That can be a little time consuming. I have this set up. It's ready to go. Now you'll notice that this one's also messed up and this one's messed up. It's only 3 of them. It's not hard. I can fix them really quick. But what if there's 10 or 15? Right? There's sometimes that can be a little bit of a hassle. So now that we have our definitions already set, when we bring in a sequence, we can choose each one individually and we can get it set up. Right here, I have the singing star. We've already played around with it. Here, I have the emoji, and it's messed up as well. We'll fix it real quick. And I have well, there we go. I have my poop emoji, and it's already set up. I have the colors here, and brown, orange is a really good brown, believe it or not. You can play around with it or whatever you want to do, but it's not a bad brown. Uh, so with these, they're not set up. This is the way it came in with the sequence. What I'm going to do is this. The first thing you'll have to do is click on one of the effects. Come over here into the blue section of the model, and you're going to go to row or model, either one. You're going to select effects, and you'll notice that the entire row. So if this row, this sequence had 10 or 20 different faces coming in, you'll have them all highlighted at this point. Come to here, right click. Right click is your friend. You're going to bulk edit, and then you're going to choose the correct face and hit OK. Now you'll notice that it fixed it for both of these. So their face one is now fixed on both of these. That would have fixed all 20 of them if it was a big bunch of them. So instead of coming through and doing 5 different operations here, I'm really only going to do 2. And I can come in. Remember, the first color is the mouth. Second color is the eyes and and everything behind it. If I wanted another one, I can choose another white. Now I have mouth, eyes, and outline, and this is the smiley. So if I wanted to do that through 20 of them, then what I would do is I could also come over here, right click, model, and select effects. All of them is selected. Come over here and update. Now once I click update, now this one updates. All of the data information is going to this now. So I could do that to 20 of them all at one time. The difference in right clicking and update is very important to understand too, because when we right click and bulk edit this face definition, all we are doing is the face definition. If we update, then what we're doing is we're loading all this information, including colors and everything, to each one of the effects, which might be fine. That works in a lot of cases, but in some cases to where you want different colors or you want different facial definitions throughout it or whatever the case, update may not be the best option. Same thing you can do for here. You can bulk edit the timing track versus the phoneme. So uh, there's options here to make life a lot easier. With the EFL Snowman, Okay, so I have the wrong ones here. I'm going to do this operation again. Right click, model. I'm going to select effects. So everything on that row, I'll come over here to single node, bulk edit. I'm going to choose cheeky, hit OK. Now this has updated each one of these to cheeky. They're still highlighted. So if I were to come here and right click, it's not going to let me. Here we go. Bulk edit, and I wanted to change the lyric track to a different one, then it would. Uh, in this case, he is lyrics. I'll leave him alone. This one here, he's lyrics. But let's say that I wanted to change it, and there was a whole bunch of them. I would right click it. Matter of fact, we'll do that to this one. Bulk edit. We don't have more than one lyric track, so bad choice here. But if I wanted to bulk edit and change the entire row to one lyric track, then I could. But that's the difference between bulk edit and update. Update will do all of the information for everything, and bulk edit will only do it for what you choose. And bulk edit works for almost everything. So just keep that in mind. Uh, with that, I'm very close to the end of the presentation. And let's see. So what we've done is showed how to import these things into import a sequence, just to very quickly choose your tracks and your facial definitions. Once you create them, it will save you a lot of time. Matter of fact, it's 2:18. I got a little bit of time. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to bring in a new sequence. Discard the changes. New musical. It's going to be the same sequence. And if you're doing singing faces, a lot of times 40 frames is better. Now I'm going to import the effects. I'm going to bring Mega Horn over to the Snowman, Mega Pumpkin, and then Mega Skull to the Singing Tree. Hit OK. Yeah, I don't think I need to map that. So now he's over here. I'm going to go to, I need to click one of these first. It needs to be highlighted, one of them at least. Go to Model, select Effects, right click, bulk edit, cheeky. I'm done. I just fixed this entire row in that operation. This is only one, so all I got to do is come over here, choose this. I'm going to kind of wake it up, and now that's done. If I can highlight the entire row, I can also come over here, bulk edit, jack-o'-lantern. Well, you know what? That ain't going to work right, is it? Bulk edit that again, go to face one, and hit OK. This one don't have forced colors, so I can just come over here and pick green. I can also choose a lighter green. There we go. And then I can update. If I hit update here, it will update all of these. So I'll just kind of show you every one of them is still not fixed. Come to here, highlight all of them, and hit update. Now these are fixed. With this tree, there's 4 colors. So I'll go ahead and choose the outline 2, which is this stump. So I have mouth, eyes, outline 1, outline 2. But I'm pretty much done with setting up my singing props for this sequence. And all the hard work was done prior by setting up everything in X lights and the X models in your layout. Once that's done, you can just choose those, not worry about doing all the colors, and save yourself a heck of a lot of time. So wrap up. Create your face definitions. They're yours. This is your show. Fix it to fit your show the way you want it to be. You may not want yours to be the same colors as mine or somebody else's. You may have more than one prop of the same kind that you want to color differently. You may have a male and female version. So it makes sense to go ahead and make two different sets of models. Force your custom colors to make life a lot quicker and easier on sequencing, and then bulk edit your sequence effects along with updating to make life a lot faster. With that, I am going to open it up to questions. I've not been following along with chat, so I'll try to get that open.
I've got a quick question, if I may, in
Yeah,
reference
absolutely.
to the preset colours for your props that you
Sure.
did. If you was to include the outline of the prop in a sequence, would they override what the sequence is trying to adopt, or would the sequence override your predefined colours?
Now, are you referring to like if you had it in a group or whatever?
Yeah, if basically you've predefined your colours for your jack-o'-lantern and your tree, for argument's sake, in the face level, and then if you wanted to then say just use the outline but include it in, say, the, I don't know, the whole house transition,
Yeah.
would the whole house transition override that outline, or would the predefined
Oh,
colour stay?
the predefined colors will stay, but that also depends on your render order. One of the things that you have to understand with X lights is there's a render order, and the way it does, let me go back to the sequencer. If I had groups in this layout, they would generally be up top. That's not always the case, but they generally are, right? X lights will render each thing from top to the bottom. So all the groups would get rendered, and let's say that it had red on the outline of the singing star. It would put that red on there. But then the next thing that would happen is by the time it comes down here, the singing star, the forced colors that I have will actually be put over top of it. And that would actually eliminate the extra colors. The thing that's kind of unique to this star is the fact that it has a, well, it has two layers. And what that does is the group effect will show, but it will not overwrite the outline, if that makes sense. If you have the jack-o'-lantern, right? I have the pumpkin. If I had the pumpkin in my group, then I had an effect happening on the pumpkin at the time. Whatever effect happens on that group will not show up beyond that pumpkin. Uh, it will actually override it. But that's due to the render order. If you had that same group all the way at the bottom, then it would be backwards. It would actually override it then. That answer your question?
Yes, it does. Does that also apply if you had a submodel, for argument's sake, and you only included part of that submodel in the group?
Well, now, yeah, because the group is still up above it. That will work that way. Now, one thing on the individual prop level, right? So let me double click on the singing star. I have my double layer star. Let me just put an effect here. It doesn't matter, so you can see what happens. So this is the double layer star. Let me move this one out of the way. Get that highlighted. All right. So now you see it's just the star. So this acts just like a regular model, regular star. No big deal. With this is a blue. But what happens is everything renders on a downward order except for layers. I'll show that in a second, but except for layers. So what happens right here, you'll see it's white because this is below it. It's rendering after this and it's taking the white. But as soon as it plays out, it goes back to that. So with this double layer star, which is the two layers, the double layers, if I were to put it in a group and it's up here somewhere, then whatever effects happens on that double layer will happen first, and then the blue will override it. In the case of the star, you'll see that there's two layers. This inside layer will still be showing, but it will not be overwrite the face effect.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jackie, for the presentation today. That was awesome. I mean, I learned a lot of information that I was doing wrong. So now I can go back and change that. So,
Well, there's no wrong. There's just different ways.
yeah,
So,
there's quite a few things that I definitely I need to go and look at. But anyway, I would like to say thank you again, and also thank you to the sponsor, Boscoyo Studios, and also the Build a Light show today. If anybody wants to have questions, I'm sure they can reach out to you in other ways. Is that correct, Jackie? If they have any.
yeah, you can always reach out to me either through Facebook, which is probably the best way, or on my website. There's www.efl-designs.com. Easy to get in touch with me, or usually on Zoom in the evening times when I am available. So
All right.
yeah,
All right. Thank you
I,
very
I will
much.
be I will be in the vendor room also at 6 this evening. So if you guys want to join me there, you can.